Hello everyone, this is Paul from SpanishWithPaul.com, and the title of this lesson is Do You Trust Me? That's because we're going to work with the Spanish verb confiar, which means to trust. Now, saying whether you trust something or someone is an important and useful part of everyday conversational Spanish. So what I'm going to do is give you the simple formula for how it works so that by the end of this lesson, you'll have mastered it completely. If becoming fluent in conversational Spanish is one of your goals for this year, then consider clicking the link above to download my free course books that go along with all of my YouTube lessons. You can also subscribe to my channel to get a brand new Spanish lesson from me every single Monday. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Saying I trust in Spanish is confío. So we have con followed by fío. Notice the accent over the I. That's important because if you said confío, it wouldn't be understood. It must be confío. This is where you're stressing the pronunciation over the I. Confío. That's I trust. Now in English, we'll say I trust him or I trust her. But we can also say I trust in him or I trust in her. And this is what you do in Spanish. For example, if you want to express I trust him, that would be confío en él. Literally, I trust in him. Confío en él. What's the word for her? Ella. Now, how would you say I trust her? Confío en ella. If you wanted to turn it around and say, I don't trust him, you just throw the word no at the front of the sentence. So it becomes, no confío en él. How would you say, I don't trust her? No confío en ella. This formula works exactly the same when referring to people's names. For example, let's take Maria. So what we want to say is, I trust Maria. How would you say that? Confío en Maria. I trust Carlos. Confío en Carlos. We can also strengthen this. For example, I completely trust Maria. The word for completely in Spanish is completamente. Let's go through the syllables. We have completamente. Completamente. So, I completely trust Maria would be confío completamente en Maria. How would you say I completely trust Carlos? Confío completamente en Carlos. Let's turn it around again. We know that I don't trust is no confío. How would you say I don't trust him? No confío en él. I don't trust her. No confío en ella. What about I don't trust Jacobo? No confío en Jacobo. Sometimes you might want to strengthen this by saying at all. In other words, I don't trust Jacobo at all. Now this at all in Spanish is expressed as para nada. Para nada. How would you say I don't trust Jacobo at all? No confío en Jacobo para nada. If you wanted to give this even more strength, you could throw in the pronoun of yo, meaning I. So by using yo, what we're really expressing in Spanish is a strong I don't trust Jacobo at all. This is where the yo is coming in to stress this I, as if you were in an argument or you were really trying to make your point very strongly. So this yo will come at the front of the sentence. In other words, yo no confío en Jacobo para nada. Let's try it with Maria. How would you say, I don't trust Maria at all, and stress the I? Yo no confío en Maria para nada. So far, we've been saying whether we trust individuals, but you can also use this same formula when referring to groups. For example, let's take the police. The word for the police in Spanish is la policía. La policía. How would you say, I don't trust the police? No confío en la policía. What's the word for here? Aquí. Now say, I don't trust the police here. No confío en la policía aquí. To express in Mexico would be en México. En México. And something you hear the people say quite a lot is, I don't trust the police in Mexico. How would you say that? No confío en la policía en México. Another group you might not trust in any country you're living in is the government. The word for this in Spanish is el gobierno. So we have go, be, er, no. El gobierno. How would you say, I don't trust the government at all? No confío en el gobierno para nada. So far we have I trust, which is confío. What I'd like to do now is move on to you trust. That would be confías. So for I, it ends in an O. We get the sound of confío. But for you, it ends in AS, and we get the sound of confías. This means you trust. To express you trust me, it would be confías en mí. Confías en mí. How would you say you don't trust me? No confías en mí. Perhaps more commonly, you'll use this as a question. And as most of you know, to ask a question in Spanish, you don't change the word order like we do in English. You simply use the inflection of your voice. So, how would you ask? Do you trust me? ¿Confías en mí? What's the word for why? ¿Por qué? Now, how would you ask, why don't you trust me? ¿Por qué no confías en mí? At this point, I'd like to bring in some of the information we learned in the mini course series, also available on YouTube. For example, how do you say, I want? Quiero. And what about I want to know? Quiero saber. Now try this one. I want to know why you don't trust me. Quiero saber por qué no confías en mí. What's the short little word for I know? Sé. Now, how would you say, I know that you trust me? Sé que confías en mí. I know that you completely trust me. Sé que confías completamente en mí. What about this last one? I know that you don't trust me at all. Sé que no confías en mí para nada. Let's move on to he trusts or she trusts. And this is very easy. It's simply confía. All we did is take the S off of you trust, confías, and we get confía. Now this means simultaneously he trusts or she trusts. It's normally understood in the context of the conversation you're having which one you mean. So, how would you say, he trusts me? Confía en mí. He doesn't trust me. No confía en mí. I know that he trusts me. Sé que confía en mí. I know that she doesn't trust me. Sé que no confía en mí. What about, I know that she doesn't trust me at all? Sé que no confía en mí para nada. Now, I wonder if you could do these next ones. How would you say, he trusts her? Confía en ella. He doesn't trust her. No confía en ella. She trusts him. Confía en él. She completely trusts him. Confía completamente en él. How would you say, he trusts Maria? Confía en María. She trusts Pablo. Confía en Pablo. Something else that we can also do is use the full verb. In other words, to trust. We looked at this at the beginning of this video. The verb is confiar. This means to trust. Confiar. Let's practice by using more information we covered in the mini course series. I've linked to it here just in case you need to revise it. First of all, how would you say you need? Necesitas. Now, if we wanted to express you need to trust me, it would be necesitas confiar en mí. How would you say you need to trust him? Necesitas confiar en él. You need to trust Jorge. Necesitas confiar en Jorge. What about you have to? How do you say that in Spanish? Tienes que. Now, how would you say you have to trust me? Tienes que confiar en mí. You have to trust her. Tienes que confiar en ella. What about I'm going to? How do you say that in Spanish? Voy a. To express in you would be en ti. En ti. Now, how would you say I'm going to trust you or I'm going to trust in you? Voy a confiar en ti. I'm going to trust her. Voy a confiar en ella. I'm going to trust him. Voy a confiar en él. What about I'm going to trust Pablo? Voy a confiar en Pablo. Let's turn it around. How would you say I'm not going to trust Pablo? No voy a confiar en Pablo. I'm not going to trust her. No voy a confiar en ella. Something else we looked at in the mini course series was how to say you should. I wonder if you can remember that. Deberías. Deberías. How would you say you should trust me? Deberías confiar en mí. The word for more in Spanish, what is that? Más. Now, to express something like, you should trust me more, that would be, deberías confiar más en mí. Notice that in English, the word more comes at the end, but in Spanish, it sounds more natural here after the verb. So, you should trust more in me. Deberías confiar más en mí. How would you say, you should trust her more? Deberías confiar más en ella. You should trust in him more. How would you say that? Deberías confiar más en él. What's the word for because? Porque. To express he's a good person, some of you may already know how to say that. It would be es una buena persona. So we have es una buena persona. See how it all matches. Una buena persona. How would you say? You should trust in him more because he's a good person. Deberías confiar más en él porque es una buena persona. Let's drill what we've done. How do you say, I trust? Confío. I trust him. Confío en él. I don't trust him. No confío en él. Now I don't trust her. Ahora no confío en ella. I completely trust Maria. Confío completamente en María. I completely trust Carlos. Confío completamente en Carlos. I don't trust Jacobo at all. No confío en Jacobo para nada. I trust the police here. Confío en la policía aquí. How do you say you trust? Confías. Now ask, do you trust me? ¿Confías en mí? Why don't you trust me? ¿Por qué no confías en mí? I know that you completely trust me. Sé que confías completamente en mí. How do you say you're going to? Vas a. Now try, I want to know if you're going to trust me. Quiero saber si vas a confiar en mí. How do you say it's important? Es importante. It's important and you need to trust me now. Es importante y necesitas confiar en mí ahora. Try this one. It's important and I need to know if you trust me now. Es importante y necesito saber si confías en mí ahora. If you're serious about learning Spanish and want to become conversationally fluent, my main course, Spanish with Paul, is live and available for you now. Inside you'll get my complete course, none of which is available on YouTube, and also my personal attention to make sure you achieve conversational fluency in the fastest time possible. In short, if you like my free lessons on YouTube and the results they're giving you, then you'll love what I have for you inside the main course. You can click the link on the screen now to find out all the details. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you again in my next video.